Hello everyone, my name is Scalti and welcome back to Timberborn. Last we left off, we got some power up and running. I'm not going to go into too much of the details because at the start of the episode I kind of go over all the stuff that we recently accomplished. So I'm actually going to go ahead and leave it at that and simply say I hope you enjoy. And last we left off, we started working on our industrial district here. Kind of got it reorganized and got more planks and gears being produced and started producing paper and expanded our farmland over here with our beehives. And actually I need to adjust my movement speed with the keyboard. There we go. Much better. So yeah, we updated the farmland over here. Well, actually we are still slowly working at it. We need to actually produce some paper and we are out of water. But thankfully our wet season is back. Interesting. I didn't even realize that last time that we had pretty much consumed all of our water. I guess at that point, delete that. We have the gears. We don't have the planks, but we'll get some soon enough. Let's go. That's well more than enough. But I think that's okay. I'm gonna live with that. The one downside, which we can kind of accommodate for this possibly, this flooding here, it will eventually drain. It just takes a little bit of time, and unfortunately we do lose, by the time it all drains out, we typically will lose the sunflower seeds that are affected. The plants are, or the trees rather, are good for a hot minute. Oh, that was actually pretty quick. Cool. And we didn't lose any of these. Fantastic. So yeah, now that we've got our beehives going, our food production is going to be solid. We're definitely going to have to do some catching up on the water, however, which shouldn't take too long, I suppose. We got some stuff that we're going to let build up. And then we also, we're working on this getting going. And probably I think once this one is complete here, we should see water starting to accumulate over here. So I guess to that point, maybe it's worth, let's get rid of all of this here and quickly just set the priority to the highest. And this will make room for us to gather some water. So the thing what would be recommended typically is if it doesn't need to be built on land, don't build it on land, right? So to an extent, what we could do instead, this is mainly just because we are a little behind on, are these guys even doing anything? We're not short on logs. They're building right now. I think they're building the beehives, which use a decent amount of planks. We're a little bit behind on the plank production, which I think will be, well, got planks in here. But this is all still working correctly. Yeah, this is, I'm so happy that I realized that we could do this. Because this makes life a little easier because we are going to have plenty of power with very little space required in order to generate that. So what we could do though, we can just kind of let stuff catch up, to be fair. If we just put, let's see, do platforms here, and then we'll need them to hang off as well, because we'll need to do a pathway, like so. Do something like this. I guess also just square it out, makes sense too. Then this is all cleaned out too, which is fantastic. So we have that all nice and open. Block these trees. Oh. I feel like that tree spawned right as I started drawing that road. I'll have to go back and double check that in editing. So the one thing that we can do as well is once these are all built, we got our dams here. We can actually set these to be demolished. And then once the water accumulates here, we can have it spill over into here, and this will give us some additional greenery, some additional irrigated land over here, which would be nice as well. So maybe do that. Take a road back to here. We're not really hurting on lumber. This guy's sitting around doing nothing. Be free, my little one. Got a Lido up and running. See, it's a cute little leisure space. Ooh, if they're gonna hit up the Lido, and we got this extra little spot here, maybe we throw a decoration in. Be a beaver statue. We're low on planks, but like all the stuff that we're building is using planks. We'll catch up. Yeah, we'll catch up eventually. So yeah, I want to expand the industrial just a little bit more. We need to work on gathering up all of this metal. Actually, I'm sorry, we said we were going to collect this metal over here. So maybe we start working on that with this existing pathway we have over here. Kind of clean this up a little bit and create something relatively natural, if you will. Some stuff up. And then what we can do is, once it's all built, we'll have all this cleared out, and we'll start making space for our project. Oops. Just bringing the pathing over here to clear those trees out eventually as well. And we should see a little bit of a well-being bump. We have 21 unemployed beavers. That's a lot. Why do we have so many unemployed? I mean, I know we did like a population increase. I added 2 houses. I feel like... weird. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. You know, it's also exciting, like I said, to see sunflowers maxed out. So let's see. Let's do... I'm kind of thinking to kind of share power here, because we already have the storage down below. So what if we did... say, what if we did put some stuff on top of here, but then it's like, or maybe we... because it just kind of sucks, because like the back of the factory is going to be where the entry to the storage way is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a little extra distance traveled. But I mean, I suppose it is what it is. We could always just continue to expand down here, which wouldn't be terrible. I think what I might end up doing then actually is, well, can't make a gap because I want to try and continuously transmit power. I guess something that we could do, this will be a little interesting, I suppose. We can build power up and, or build power under and build up and over. And then if we thinking 2, so we're gonna need 1 to process metal, and then we'll do like 2 things of dynamite. Is that gonna be in the way though? So we just on the cusp. Yes, we can do something like this, and then we already have the metal processing unlocked, so we can do something. Oops. Probably need to get our power placed first. So the power, bring it in through the paper mill there. Then we'll do metal processing. And then next to that we'll do dynamite. And then we can do just some simple steps down like that. Position this here. Get that all connected up. Technically, we probably could have done more storage, but I mean, we have quite a bit over here. So maybe right here we'll do... Let's do some dynamite. Dynamite. Might as well just actually stack all of this to dynamite, because we'll probably end up doing a decent amount of terraforming. It couldn't hurt to just to kind of have more. And at the rate in which we're producing paper, we will be producing excess. So essentially, this is where kind of like that satisfactory logistics component comes in. And I was thinking about this earlier about, you know, min-maxing to, oh, that was my phone. I don't know if it came through my microphone. 1 second. My phone fell out of my pocket. About min-maxing like input-output ratios. So like we look at the planks, for example, 1 log in over 1.3 hours yields 1 plank. But then if we look at the gears, 1 plank over 3 hours yields 1 gear. So planks are consumed 1 per 3 hours, but we're producing per lumber mill here 2 within that time frame, with 20 minutes, if you will, left over. So looking at the explosives factory, I don't know if it shares the information. It does. Okay, so 3 paper across 3 hours yields 1 dynamite. So 1 paper per hour to 1 dynamite. And our paper, we produce 1 log over 1.6 hours, we get 2 paper. So it's 0.8 hours per 1 paper, so that's 0.2 less than its consumption. So we're going to be overproducing paper based on having 2 of our dynamite factories over there, which is fantastic. I set this to water. Are we caught up on water yet? No, we are struggling to maintain water. Our population is 72. That's a little disconcerting overall. We're definitely going to want to increase our water production. I'm curious. Item is too... Oh, it's too far. That's why they're not doing anything, because I didn't build a pathway here. Should have been a little bit more observant. That's what the errors down here represent. So that explains that. Why are we not producing anything here then? We're just still waiting on planks. We're just slowly dumping into this. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, no sense in waiting around. I'm gonna kind of, while this is all getting built, I'm kind of gonna think of how we want to... Well, actually here, I take that back. We can do storage. Not gonna worry about that quite yet. We'll do... scrap metal, then metal blocks. Let's do... I'll just path it out like this. I think that makes the most sense. Maybe put some decoration in there or something. And then probably get started on gathering up our metal, scrap metal over here. Set this to clear out. Maybe I can probably fit... Yeah, I can fit this right here. Do it up like this. While we're waiting on planks, this should get built pretty quickly. This new icon that we're seeing around here, and wow, we are... Or is it just because okay, it's just because it's in the evening, everyone got hungry all of a sudden. We now have injured beavers, and so under our well-being, we have our medical bed, and I'm gonna just position these near our housing. Let's do it here. Well, actually, where's our forester? So our forester's here. We have one over here too. Let's do it over here. We'll do 4 beds, and then we will have our forester plant some dandelions. Like so. And then eventually we'll build a healer. We need the 5 metal blocks in order to do that, but essentially it produces medicine from dandelions, and that just increases the recovery speed of our beaver colony. They will just passively get better. I mean, they'll get a little bit better by utilizing the medical beds, recover a little faster, but then actually having medicine will help them recover even faster than that. So we're already hitting up our next drought. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and actually let some of this stuff get built and kind of accumulate some planks as well before we get building our next phase. Alright, so our drought has kicked in. It's 6.7 days. We have 360 water, plus whatever we'll have left over once this spot runs out. I think we'll be okay. I mean, 70 beavers, drink twice a day, 140 water per day. And this is actually draining pretty quickly, to be fair. It might be a little close. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I should have tried to prioritize. Items is too far from the district and cannot be reached by builders. And then we can't get all required materials, and I have the priority set here to lowest. So I'm going to switch that up. And get that complete. It's not going to make too much of a difference now, I mean, because we don't have any planks. I theoretically could probably just destroy something. We technically lose a little bit of planks, lose a little bit of resources as a result of that. But 22 unemployed beavers. I'm wondering if we can... It might be worth building a hauler's post, I think. I mean, it's 10 planks, but a hauling post can net us a little bit more efficiency, if you will. Maybe do something like this, with the intention of maybe building a second one here. And that will kind of ease up some stuff. Not too much. I mean, it's not like it's gonna like make a huge impact, but it will have an impact of some kind. So, and I'm thinking, oh, excuse me, it might be in our interest. I might move our pine. Maybe actually here, I'll move the pine after we get this sorted out over here, because that'll keep all of this stuff green. But then also, once we can start producing dynamite, what we could do is similar to this here. I can essentially turn this into an aquatic farmland area for our spatter dock and our cattails here. I kind of do, like, I have the farmland over here. There goes the water. I think we should be okay. 533 for 4 days. Well, what did I say? 540? Yeah, they just... 42 divided by 70 is 6. So that's 3 days worth of water. We're actually going to be short water by 1 day. which would means that it would be critical that I get this up and running, actually. And we will do 5 to make sure that we are going to be fully topped out. I mean, I guess maybe 5 might be a little overkill because we'll have two levels of water to drain from. The first level being decently, well, actually no, it's only this space here. Actually, that'll be considered. I might tighten up some of the dam systems as well, but I feel like that might be a little unnecessary. I think the biggest kind of focus is going to be actually, that's fine. The biggest focus is going to be getting this sorted out, and I think once we can sort out, you know, tapping into the water for power, I need to be conscientious in creating an offshoot that'll supply the stream over here, so that way we will regularly have water. So we'll get a decent amount. We'll get a really good amount of power, to be fair, out of the system here. And I think probably before we go that far as well, we do have plenty of wood. The other consideration, how do I want to do this? It'll be pretty simple. I want to start working toward, this is just the way I'll do it for now. There's a pretty solid strategy on how to transmit power and water, technically, throughout your colony. The other thing that I just realized here, and this is a little bit of an oops, which is technically fine. I'm not too concerned about it. I kind of did build some of this wrong, or at least this pathway here. So technically this pathway was supposed to be fencing, but we've already done enough here to kind of get that going. So I'm going to leave it with the intention of eventually making it into fencing. And the idea here is the Folktales alternative power solution, which is pretty fantastic, are windmills. The large ones are probably the better bet over the small ones. They cost a lot more resource-wise, if you really think about it, but the high end of the power capabilities, the power potential, power output potential, I find better. They both technically take up the same space, like the space in which you need to leave, I think. Yeah, the space in which you need to leave between them. Am I not able to... Why am I not able to build that on top of the thing here? They have to be built on the ground? Oh, the trees. That's the problem. You can see you need a gap of 2 no matter what. Ooh, don't actually build these. So the tall ones, however, these are essentially just taller, so you can build them next to trees, I guess, in this example. Oh, can't build. I can build. No, I can't build here. Probably because of the forester. So I might need to relocate the forester. I'll probably move the science structures then. Or I just reposition everything. It's always a possibility as well, I suppose. Oh, and these are paused. Might as well get those going. I think we're maxed out on wood storage anyway. No, we're not. So yeah, look at these oak trees, starting to get these cut down. Or these are not set to be cut down. That's why nothing's getting cut, because I didn't specify the zone. Okay, so this should start getting cut down now. But running these windmills all the way around here, when it's already space that is intentionally like set aside, like I said, I'm going to be putting fencing up. I guess to be fair, you know, maybe it's not worth doing that. Maybe I just leave it open so that way we can get access to the back of the map here by utilizing this path structure. We just build the windmills on top. The way I kind of did it, if I recall correctly, is I started in the corner, so it's like 1, 2, 3, and then 3 gap, and then 4, 5, and then 6. So I'm not going to worry about building those quite yet. I'm going to get the power infrastructure in place when able, and hopefully we can salvage our drastically dehydrated beaver colony. At least we have this one working over here, but this actually won't do anything until we start blocking up this water. So we're just going to be relying on these 3 to get us, well actually these 4, to get us enough water. I think we should be okay. Thirst, 30 out of 72. If we look at their thirst, yeah, they're not that far below thirst. When they are severely dehydrated, it's kind of really hard to recover, because when they're thirsty, let's see what pops up. Yeah, movement speed reduced by 25%. And when they're hungry, their work speed is reduced like that as well. Okay. So hopefully that'll catch up pretty quickly. Hopefully we'll get this built here soon. The real kicker though, like when, especially like you can have a negative feedback loop, essentially where your beavers are too hungry, or are hungry, they're starving, and so then as a result, those beavers then work less. And so if your beavers, say, producing the food work less, then it's just a compounding cycle, essentially. And it's really difficult to kind of recover from that. The trick, and you can't quite do this that I know of in update 4 anymore. I guess I think you can. It still exists. You can technically build a second district center, but essentially, if you realized, oh crap, I don't have enough food or I don't have enough water to survive a drought, you essentially exile however many beavers you need. So essentially, it's a chop off an arm to save the body type situation, which is a little grim. And I've had to do it a handful of times when I was not prepared to survive a drought. So I'm a little, I think we're catching up on, yeah, we're starting to see, I'm seeing a lot less thirst icons, so I think we're starting to really catch up, which is good. Oh, and our water is accumulating. So this is going to start producing some water for us, which is great. The one thing I will need to do over here is, let's see, so we'll do 3, 3. I'm going to do it like this with a little bit of anticipation for our large tanks. These are still a ways down the line. Material wise, you can see it's 30 metal blocks, and it's a decent amount of planks and gears too, don't get me wrong. So these are definitely going to be toward the little bit of the later mid / early late game that we'll worry about those. Our water level is going to be rising quite nicely now. These are all set to 2.5, so essentially they're functioning like a dam right now. And then we see the water is spilling over into this space as well. That's turning this land into greenery, which is great. We can eventually start planting some trees over here as well. So yeah, I'm gonna let, like I said, I'm gonna let, now that we're kind of stabilized a little bit better, I'm going to let things accumulate. Actually, leave this. I'm just kind of leave it like that, and then actually, let's prioritize the hauler's post getting built, so that way the water that's being produced here will be carried by haulers over to our storage. So I'm gonna let the game run for a little bit while we kind of catch up on those resources now, since we're in a little bit better shape, and then we will pick up once that's complete. Okay, so I think we're in a good spot. We're starting to get our work done on our over pathway, or our just covered pathway is what we'll call it. Our log production, solid. Our plank production, still catching up. That's okay. We have, looks like everything we need. We're just missing the metal blocks and the scrap metal. So let's go ahead and get that started. Let me toggle the water so we can kind of see what we're doing here. And we'll get a stairs in place, and then we'll probably put one here, and here. This will kind of let us, well, yeah, let's actually clear this out. And then put our metal gatherers in. We'll put that, well, I can't put them down there because it's flooded. Then maybe we can simplify this pathing so that way they're not back tracing. Give them a little bit of a shorter path, more direct route. Prioritize this, get this cleared out real quick. It's too far. Oh, we need this. Yeah, so I guess the downside is probably dumping a lot of planks into something we definitely don't kind of need right now. So it's a little wasteful, if you will. That's not the end of the world. And then I think also what I'm gonna do here is we are pretty much peaked on water storage right now. Oh, it's right, I can't pause. I was like, why can't I pause the water storage? Well, I want to. But we do have our haulers. Let's go and actually cap this out. So this way, these guys can stay working, and we will have our haulers, these blue guys running around. They'll be the ones responsible for keeping everything up and running and keeping our other beavers that are in the middle of doing something, still doing whatever that something is. So I'll have to get these built up, and they'll put some storage on top. I guess I can go ahead and just do that now, actually. So like I said, we're going to do 1, 2, just do 3 like that. That should be fine. Then eventually we'll upgrade those to some bigger storage. So we have our metal to accumulate, which is good. It looks like, yep, we do have workers working on that. Going to increase the priority here. And we are now utilizing all beavers for work. Let's kind of see where we have some inefficiencies. So we delete these. Now that we have our other beavers up and running. We'll keep the water storage here until we have the new storage built. And then we'll probably adjust the pathway here. So that way we can move these. Well, these are just going to go away entirely. We can kind of shift some of this out. And then we'll work on, yeah, our power. So get this built up. I'm about to get the scrap metal up and running, which would be nice. What is... Oh, this is the one that has no access. It's like in the back there. Eventually we'll have access to it once we get some dynamite on our hands. So I think it's probably going to be worth our effort to expand our housing. I'm a lot less concerned now with our water consumption. I was getting a little little nervous there, but now that we have essentially this here is effectively overkill. Like I said, the 2 water depth here is going to be more than sufficient, and our food production actually is starting to dwindle. I'm losing out on carrots, and I'm wondering if it's lack of beavers working. Maybe we want to up that. Debating. I mean, it would make sense. Let's see. Yeah, we are hemorrhaging food at the moment. Let's kind of take stock. Where are we at with? We're all kind of peaked out, so we might want to start introducing a new food source, just to kind of help offset some of that. So maybe, whoa, as a temporary, we'll probably get another drought again. Jeez Louise. Planks are really hamstringing us now, and it's, I mean, to be fair, it's because I'm dedicating a lot of planks towards, like I said, something we don't necessarily need. But it'll be there for later, so our future self will thank us. And that is an 8-day drought. That loss of power is a little annoying, so we are producing, we have 1 metal block produced in our explosives factory. We have a lot of paper saved up, but we don't have gears and we don't have planks. So I know I've been doing a decent amount of time lapsing through all of this, and I think I will continue to kind of time lapse. I feel like we're not at quite a natural stopping point yet. I want to keep going and kind of resolve what we have going on so far and go from there. And I really want to get terraforming underway. So let's go ahead and just kind of crank through this drought, since nothing's really going to be happening during it as well. Maybe that shouldn't delete the pathway, right? Okay. And we're at least getting full recovery on our logs while we do that, by the way, because the structure wasn't totally complete yet. But I think pausing, you know, tearing all those down until we're ready to actually need that, I think would be the smart play. And I really want to catch up on our plank production. And I think being able to generate some power in the dry seasons is going to really help us kind of continue forward at a little bit of a faster pace overall, and enable us to kind of, yeah, just be able to get to some more stuff quickly, because we'll actually be producing materials all season. Well, not all season, because we're still going to need wind. Wind is intermittent, so we're going to be at the mercy of the elements, essentially, like we always are. But there's a way around that, and I guess maybe I'll speak to it while we're kind of waiting for this drought. Is under power, there are batteries, gravity batteries, and these are kind of cool. So essentially, the higher they're built, you can see in the tooltip, the more energy it can store. And they're really nice for, you know, dry periods, because you'll start to consume the gravity battery. The windmills can also recharge them too, so if you build enough batteries, essentially, you'll never have to worry about energy. I want to hold off on building any of the batteries. I mean, one, again, 10 metal blocks, 40 planks, 40 gears, so we really need to kind of stabilize our material production. That's, I think, something that we're kind of suffering from the most right now. And based on how we're going to be terraforming this space here, I kind of want to wait to see how that shakes out in terms of figuring out where we can build an actual gravity battery structure to get the most out of the potential storage it can have, right? So again, the higher you build it, the more it can store. So I want to find, or I want to rely on, once this whole system for power production via water is in place, figure out where we can put the batteries at as well. And I think one additional component, so I think we're being pretty efficient with how we're going to be putting our windmills around our farmland area. I do think there's opportunity based on the design, which I've already created via just a separate playthrough, is probably adding windmills to it and kind of keeping power production all in, like in a singular location. The windmills are not affected by elevation, so the higher they are, or even if they're next to a cliffside, for example, they'll still get wind regardless. Essentially, it's a global modifier. There's no like physics or anything that's calculating wind flow, which I think would honestly be kind of cool, like if you really think about it, because if we increase the flow of water to our water wheels, we get more power. If we terraformed or created like have you ever seen like a heat sink on a computer and it has all the vertical fins with narrow passageway and essentially maximizes the surface area? That's not what we're looking for particularly, but it creates valleys, right? So imagine if we had like I don't know if there's like, so for example, this is like a valley, right? And if we put our windmills in the middle of it, and then we built up the sides as well, and it kind of creates a funnel effect for the wind to travel through, that would then increase the speed of the wind because it's being compressed. And then we get even more power out of the windmills. I think that would be kind of cool. I think that'd be pretty slick if they were able to somehow do that. But I can imagine it would be a headache to do that, not to mention probably pretty taxing overall on the the computer and whatnot. Update 4 definitely improved or increased optimization. Like I'm still at max frame rate. You can see in the bottom right here, 140. Well, technically 144 is like optimal. And the more I zoom out, the lower the FPS goes, as you can see. But typically, whenever you had like a colony approaching about 100 beavers, the performance hit was pretty high. So anyway, enough rambling from me. We got 3 days left on our drought. We'll go ahead and just let that play through while we wait for our other structures to be built as well. And then, like I said, gather up a decent amount of planks. So actually, I'll keep this perspective, and once we see these maxed out, go ahead and continue on. Okay, so we are through our drought, and I just realized something we could do. So these platforms are almost, completely built. We could destroy these. That'll immediately give us some resources, like so, that we can tap into. So they'll get put back in storage, and then from storage they'll be brought back out, and we can get these built. And a little bit faster, not by much, but every little bit helps, right? And so we're getting, our plank production is starting to grow. We have a decent storage of gears. Our paper, our paper is maxed out. Let's go ahead and actually just do some more paper then while we're at it. Oh, those are books. It's not paper. This is just straight log. Yeah, it just takes straight logs, which our log consumption could be tapped into a little bit more. And yeah, we are really starting to lose out on food, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause. Let's go ahead and actually temporarily, I know its focus was gonna be on the industrial complex, but we're kind of ebbing and flowing just based on some of the needs that we currently have. So I think what we could do, yeah, let's do this. So we'll take 2 slots here, prioritize that, and unlock the aquatic farmhouse, Oh wait, yeah, we can actually shift it around. Plant that there, or not plant, but build that there. And then I think that, so the spatter dock is grilled, the cattails have to be converted into cattail flour, which requires the grist mill, and we technically have room for it. But I think let's focus for now on the spatter dock. Put a grill right next to here just to make it easier. And then let's see, we have, let's see what they look. Grist mill, then eventually we need the bakery. The grist mills are like this. So we could do one of each side by side. I kind of like that. Let's do that. We'll do them side by side like so. Delete these out. Take our power, do just the one, and then it'll transfer over. Keep it simple. And then we can always redirect the power on the end here up to a too high platform, like so. Or yes, okay. So the power can just go up like that, and then we'll do a cross section just in case, and then we can route power this way. And I think we should be able to kind of get to, yeah, our plank production's pretty solid, so I think we're just kind of waiting on getting these built up. I'm not sure why these aren't being prioritized over here. No storage space. Oh, this is just the water. Okay, that's what it is. I think, you know, the water here isn't too far away. It probably wouldn't... Actually, we are getting water over here, which is fine. So we probably could just nick some water here and let them tap into that here. And kind of keep things a little distributed. And when we eventually make the industrial, like the full permanent industrial district, I definitely want to make sure I'm putting some local food storage over. But we really need to get cracking on producing more food. We are really starting to hurt. What can I do? Let's see, we have... I up this. Because if, like, we're running out of food, but we have all of this untapped in the back here, which means we just need to increase our worker amount to actually tap into those fields. I think is probably our biggest problem right now, and I think I should have been able to catch that soon enough where we should be okay. Because we have a decent amount of sunflower seeds left over, which, not the greatest, but also at the same time, I suppose, not the worst. But those will go quickly. Like, our population is 88 and they eat twice a day. So we're going to need to very quickly here get some stuff going. What are we waiting on over here? Anyway, I don't know. But it will get built all in due time, I suppose. Yeah, healthy plank storage. Gears could be a little better. I think once we kind of normalize, once these both get filled on planks, we can enable our other two gear factories here and get those going. And I think we'll be in a good spot materials-wise. And we're definitely not consuming lumber at a high rate. But I think we will. Once we start the terraforming process, we're going to be chewing through lumber. So it might be beneficial too. Like, there's always like all this like backstepping, or not backstepping, but like reverse engineering, you know, starting with what's your end goal and then what are you going to need to get there, right? And they're very similar to Satisfactory. You know, what's the output product that you want, and then you reverse engineer the math backwards to figure out what your inputs need to be. So maybe we before we start the major terraforming over here, we could shift some of the wood production to over here because we have all this free real estate. And we have 21 adolescent beaver. We currently have 11 unemployed, which is okay. But we could always do this up here and then just do a massive body of oak. Like that. And that'll eventually build up. Actually, here, let's not do this. We'll make this a pathway. Or actually, here, yeah, we'll keep this going. I know the episode's probably getting a little long once all the editing's complete. Maybe kind of figure this out. Especially now that our stuff is normalizing out. We should be okay. I'm going to leave these in because eventually we will want to tap into this space and have access to it. Or actually, maybe the better bet would be to kind of move the stairs. I'll leave them for now. But I would like to, and this almost looks perfectly square. Actually, no, I think we need to go left one, perhaps. So let's kind of measure this out. And that's the other quality of life thing that I know some people were asking about is enable us, give us tape measure, or a tape measure. So I can't build them yet. Oh, actually, I'm producing dynamite now. Am I really? Yeah, fantastic. I'm starting to produce dynamite. It's pretty cool. Now that we have enough metal blocks smelted, so I'm not going to use dynamite for that. Let's... I guess we can just count. It's an easy way to count. I can do this. So let's see. I want to do a square here. And I want it to be odd. So we'll start from this corner just because of how nicely it aligns here. So we'll go 1, 2. Well, we'll start here. Yeah, base 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. 19 is here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's what I need to do. We need to go over one more. And yeah, we'll just delete this. So that area is good. We'll leave it like that. That should give me full access to everything down there once it's built. And then once we have enough dynamite, we can clear the space out, turn that into a reservoir for our water here potentially. But this should be fine because we have our dam here, so it's not a big deal. But in terms of visually cleaning up the space and getting rid of this curve river, making things a little bit more refined, I think this will probably be a good spot for it. And then we'll move our district center in the middle. I kind of have an idea on what I'd like to do here. So let's see, let's do wheat flour and I guess can we reach? Yeah, we can reach all the way over to here. So let's actually, now that we have those being built, let's do our cattails as well. And this is way too much. We're not going to need all this, but might as well overproduce a little bit. And since we have our other grist mill going up, we'll set this to wheat, or actually cattail, wheat flour. And then we can nick all of that. So everything that's planted will be harvested and they won't replant anything. So we can kind of let that go. And let's actually see, 31. I feel like we have enough sunflower seeds. I feel like that's pretty good. And these will grow pretty decently quick. So we'll eventually replace that with regular wheat as well. That was finally built, so this guy's gonna start planting some stuff. You just plant one tree and then go to sleep. Day accomplished. Beautiful. Still catching up on the beaver population, and the one thing that you want to be cautious about, I think I might have mentioned this before, is when you do rapid housing expansion, you definitely get huge swings in population. So that's always something to be cognizant about. So I think, you know, our industrial center, based on, you know, where I said I wanted to get it the previous episode, I think we're kind of there. You know, we're still technically waiting on our last explosives factory to be built, but we have this assembled. Our scrap metal could actually use some improvement, and I know I said I was going to tap into this here, but tapping into this was a little easier and faster and whatnot, so I will wrap it here. So got our water covered and figured out. Food is going to be curious, you know, once we get these completely grown and pulled out, we'll swap that out with wheat. We have almost capped out our paper again, so this will be good for when we start producing books too. We have our water plants, or our water-based food sources being produced. Our planks are stacking up quickly, which is fantastic. So another pretty successful episode in terms of growth and expansion, quite quick, which I definitely enjoy. And hopefully, I think next episode, it's actually, like I said, once our planks start capping out, we should unlock our gears to get those made a lot quicker as well. So I think next episode we focus on power, so that way we're not hamstrung in dry seasons too much, and that way we'll have some wind power as well. But I mean, look at our network power supply versus the demand. We are producing a little less than twice as much as we need, or we are using a little more than half of what we can produce, which is pretty fantastic considering it's only 4 power wheels, or water wheels rather. So this is an excellent system, and I'm super excited that I realized we could do something like this. So simple, sweet, and effective. So, but we have our lumber production, or our wood production going up as well. So I think it's a pretty good stopping point. And next episode, yeah, we'll work on the wind power, and then maybe actually increase some more production over here for our dynamite. And just make sure that we always have a lot of dynamite on hands, if you will. And I know that's going to be a little restrictive based on our metal production, so maybe we add one more of those too. It's not like we don't have the power for it, so we might as well use it, right? So I appreciate you all, and catch you in the next one. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode, fairly productive, even though we had some pivots that we had to accommodate and address, like our food. You know, that was a nice little quick, easy, simple fix overall, but the water scare at the beginning was a little harrowing, if you will. But, you know, we got our water set up pretty good. You know, we have the space for our largest water fluid storage structure. You know, we got room for 3 of them, so we'll be set once we have the means in which to build those, no problem. And kind of doing what we can to better stabilize on wood income, just because the upcoming project that we're going to be working on is going to require a lot of wood, and just making sure that we are doing what we can in order to have a nice stockpile to get that accomplished. So, but with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. It does help out the channel. If you want to see more content in the future, be sure to subscribe if you're not already. And if you have any questions about Timberborn, what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, and anything in general, to be honest, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Take care.